Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video we are going to take a deeper dive into keto noodles. A couple of weeks ago I used a modernist cuisine technique to make noodles, specifically ramen or spaghetti, out of chicken, and I'll link to that video right up here in case you haven't seen it. The response to that video was fantastic, and I got a lot of really great questions that I'm going to attempt to answer in this video, starting with, can you freeze these noodles? The answer is yes, they're frozen. They do look a little bit more translucent since freezing them though. But I think what people are really asking is not can they be frozen, but rather once frozen and thawed, does it change the flavor or texture? So I'm going to test that out by thawing this in a pot of hot water. In fact, I'm probably going to take it past thawed to cooked. Alright, my noodles have thawed and reheated, and I don't know if you can tell on the video, but I can tell just by looking at them that they are more opaque than they appeared to be when they were frozen. So I've dumped the noodles into a bowl. Texture-wise, basically it feels like ramen. Let's give them a taste. They are a bit chewier. I would say closer to an al dente sort of pasta at this point. So if that's the way you like your pasta, they're good to go. If, however, you would like to soften your noodles a little bit more, I will include a link down below in the description to Anne's video over at Keto Asian Flavours, where she shows a little technique for softening these noodles. The next question that I got was, can you dehydrate these noodles, and then I'm assuming rehydrate them for things like camping trips? So I'm going to take a portion of these noodles, put them on a dehydrator tray, and see what happens. So I dehydrated the noodles at 145 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 65 degrees Celsius, for about 2.5 hours. The texture on this is pretty fragile. They're breaking apart pretty easily. I'll see how they rehydrate in a second, but first, let's just give them a taste. A little bit bland, but I could see crumbling some of these up on top of an Asian salad, potentially. It's got sort of that fried rice noodle texture to it. So I've transferred these to a bowl, and like I said, they are very crumbly, really falling apart. I don't know that I could see taking this along on a camping trip. They're going to crumble. But we'll add some hot water and see if they rehydrate. I've had these soaking for about 2 minutes, and the texture definitely looking better. Let's give it a taste. Okay, that's a no right there. I'm going to be spitting this out. The texture on that was really pretty unpleasant. I don't know exactly what I would describe it like. It wasn't the same sort of chewy rubber band type texture as a shirataki noodle, but something else. Almost a little bit like leather shoestrings or something like that. So that was not a win. And I don't know if that was purely due to the dehydration, rehydration, or the combination of freezing and then dehydrating and rehydrating. But it seems to me that that's probably not going to work. Another common question that I got was, can you make these noodles in different shapes? Like, could you make elbow macaroni? That I don't think is going to work. I just don't think that there's a way to properly dispense this to create a pasta like that. In terms of creating a wider flat noodle, perhaps sort of like lo mein, I think you would require the proper dispenser. I have not been able to find the proper dispenser, but I think, and again, active word think, is that if you had a mayonnaise bottle, one of those squirt bottles that has the wide, thin dispenser, you may be able to repurpose that to create these noodles. In terms of lasagna noodles, that was an epic fail. I created the batter and then poured it out onto a cookie sheet lined with a silicone mat. Then I filled up a spray bottle with the calcium water bath solution and spritzed it so that I could get a firm top layer. After that, I added the rest of the water bath. After 2 hours of sitting in the water bath, the texture was somewhere between jellyfish and mucus, neither of which sound all that tasty. Believe me, it was pretty gross. It went into the garbage. The final frequently asked question that I got was, will these noodles stand up to being baked, like in a spaghetti casserole. So I'm going to toss my noodles with a little bit of Rayo's Arrabbiata, absolutely my favorite lowish carb sauce. Move it to a Pyrex container, top it with a little mozzarella cheese, and put it into the toaster oven. So again, the texture was a little bit al dente. For a sec. I'm guessing if you would make some sort of a spaghetti casserole without first freezing them, the texture would be a little bit more delicate. But we definitely can bake with these. Okay, I guess that wasn't the last question, but I think maybe this is. And that question is, can these noodles be stir-fried? Well, if you saw the thumbnail, I think you know the answer. Anyhow, I just sort of whipped this up on the fly. My wok is preheated with some peanut oil, and to this I'm going to add some minced garlic and minced ginger, as well as some chili paste. Then I'm going to add some thinly sliced mushrooms, some grated carrot, and a little splash of sesame oil. Then my pasta. Stir this around a little bit. And then I'm going to add some soy sauce, just to anger the soy police. If you want, you can use tamari or coconut aminos. And then, after a few minutes of stir frying, we'll transfer this to our plate. So let's give it the taste and texture test. The texture isn't exactly ramen, and this did come out a little bit saltier than I expected. So if you're going to use soy sauce or coconut aminos or something like that, I'd recommend something low sodium. I think the sodium that's in the sodium alginate as well as in the chicken kind of starts to compound after a little while. Still, the main thing I wanted to test is how well this held up under heat, and it did a fine job. So stir fry, I'm going to say yes. So on the whole, these noodles continue to impress me, and I'm definitely going to be doing some more experimentation and recipes with them, including once I dial in a proper noodle stir-fry, lo mein sort of thing, as well as these spinach noodles that you can see in the thumbnail. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, tap the subscribe button, then hit the bell to turn on all notifications so you don't miss my future videos. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the Serious Keto Test Kitchen, click that join button. It's down by subscribe. See what memberships and perks are all about. Thanks for watching.